All right, so we're going to get started early. Roland and his ilk. They did this stream about an hour ago. You see the title. Racist, Black or Indian attack unleashed by Trump. Roland, stop it. Stop it. There was nothing racist about what Trump. I mean, this is pathetic. He pointed out a simple fact that early on Kamala identified as Indian. There's nothing racist about pointing that out. Y'all won't listen to black people when we point it out. It looked like it helped to have Trump say it. We had a lot of new people actually consider that fact now that Trump said it. What y'all talking about? Nothing. What's racist about pointing out her own hypocrisy, her own dishonesty, Kamala Harris's own identity crisis? We as black people, we can't go around identifying as something we're not. She did that. He identified as Indian. He simply pointed it out. And here we go. Here we go with the Boule tap dancing.
Reese, how do you feel we should be responding going forward? Because we know that once Trump unleashes something, the whole media ecosystem that follows him is going to repeat it as well. So there are going to be more stories questioning her blackness and her background. How should we be galvanizing to respond in this environment?
Well, here's the thing. The number one attack against Vice President Kamala Harris, dating back to her time as in 2019 when she ran for president the first time, was about her race. About 60% of the attacks against her were race-based, trying to question her blackness, because what they think that they can do is if they can create distance between her and the black community, the most powerful voting bloc and demographic in terms of being the
No, you see that? She's just looking at the fact that they're creating distance between her and the black community. We're pointing out that Kamala created distance between herself and black people. What are you talking about? And not just Kamala. She's an Indian. She was never attached to us anyway. She was never in close proximity. She was never close to us to begin with. So what are you talking about? Create distance. We was never close. We was never close. This is goofy and it's kind of funny, but y'all need to stop it. Now let's continue.
Makers of this country in terms of moving this country forward, the conscious of the country, then they feel like they can win. They can knock off those numbers they need to in Philadelphia and in Milwaukee and in Atlanta. So that's really what they want to do, is they want to make this not about the issues, but about how black Vice President Kamala Harris is.
No. Y'all going around calling her a black woman. Some people only remember Kamala when she was said to be an Indian. What are you talking about? Why do they think it's okay to ignore the fact that early on she was projected and identified as an Indian herself? She was on talk shows with Indians. And they're like, hey, y'all might not know this, but Kamala is Indian. And Kamala, yeah, I am. So what are we talking about here? Boy, oh boy, people have selective energy. This is ridiculous. Let's continue.
I think one thing I would like to see Kamala Harris do, and I think having studied her record for so long, one of the things that she doesn't tend to like to do is she doesn't usually like to humor a lot of the attacks against her. I've seen her lean in on a lot of things, but she hasn't necessarily leaned in explicitly as, I know who I am. I'm a black woman this cycle. Now, we've had interviews with her.
You hear that? They're basically saying, hey, Kamala, why don't you just say I'm a black woman? Why don't you just, say it repeatedly? Insist that you're a black woman. Because Negroes are so dumb, they'll accept you. Long as you ain't white, you can say, I'm black, and they'll accept you. And y'all know that there are plenty of black people like that. Plenty of black people like that. Well, it's all on what she say she is. What she identified. No.
Where she's done it and she says, I'm black and I'm not going to explain that to anybody. And I think part of her kind of, is a little indignant.
Let me back that up because I cut her off. I want y'all to hear this.
Usually like to humor a lot of the attacks against her. I've seen her lean in on a lot of things, but she hasn't necessarily leaned in explicitly as, I know who I am. I'm a black woman this cycle. Now, we've had interviews with her where she's done it and she says, I'm black and I'm not going to explain that to anybody. And I think part of her kind of, is a little indignant at that being part of the conversation. But I think it would help in the same way that we saw President Barack Obama many times throughout the course of his 2008 campaign talk about his blackness, talk about even how he had a white mother and all the other kind of stuff too. But he definitely at least talked about his blackness. And I think that that's something that would actually serve Vice President Kamala Harris really well.
How pathetic is that? How pathetic is that? Y'all are pleading with Kamala Harris to start, hey, just say that you're black. Talk about your blackness, your black side, which is how she got a full-on Indian mother, and her father is Brahmin. He's Brahmin. That's at the top of the caste. India got one of the worst caste system ever known to earth. And the Brahmins are equal to white. They're at the top of the caste system. And the darkies are at the bottom. That's the culture Kamala is from. Why should we? This is insane. And she's saying this because she knows that'll win over a lot of black people. All they gotta see is a face that kind of look like she's a little bit black. Actually saying, I'm a black woman and black girl magic. Oh, what up, sister? What up, queen? If you do that enough, you'll win over a lot of black people. And she's right. She is right. So the Boule tap dancing, they tapping. They tapping. Boy, they are cutting the rug, dancing a jig. Wow. This is why I always spoke against this idea that you can be black just by saying that you black. As with your black self, you think you can just say that you white and white people going to accept you as white? But they can do that with black people, and that's pathetic. It's plantation, and we need to stop.
About even how he had a white mother and all the other kind of stuff too. But he definitely at least talked about his blackness. And I think that that's something that would actually serve Vice President Kamala Harris really well. And that's something she didn't do as strongly her first time out. And I think
clearly don't want to. So they're trying to put pressure on her to do something that she's clearly consciously avoided not doing. This is sad and pathetic. And I knew Roland and his ilk was about to be on a pathetic. Ever since this issue came up with Kamala Harris's, her being a black girl, I knew Roland and his ilk was going to look bad the whole while. And here we go.
I think that was something that really hurt her a little bit that time because she didn't have a real contrast to these narratives.
Yeah, it hurt her because she wasn't trying to scam black people. It hurt her by not projecting herself as a black woman, by not trying to con. Listen to this. And this is the purpose that the Boule class in Black America serve. To keep black Americans on the plantation. Pathetic.
It actually served Vice President Kamala Harris really well. And that's something she didn't do as strongly her first time out. And I think that was something that really hurt her a little bit that time because she didn't have a real contrast to these narratives that were being pushed. Now she has everybody galvanized around her, but I would still like to see her personally just put it to bed once and for all. She could have just as easily said, I know who I am. Donald Trump doesn't define me. My mom knew who, blah, blah, blah. I can write 15 different ways that she could have.
And the reason she ain't talking like that is because she ain't black. Why would you even want to put pressure on her to say something that any other black person would say voluntarily? That itself is pathetic. It's pathetic. Y'all looking horrible right now. Man, and somebody actually called me a tether. If anybody try to call me a tether, I'ma assume that you are a tether. Because I feel like black Americans and white Americans know I'm black American. What y'all talking about? Let's not get personal here. Let's continue with this sad display. And it's only 4 minutes and 40 seconds long. Y'all jam-packed this with a bunch of tap dancing and boule shucking and jiving.
Who I am. Donald Trump doesn't define me. My mom knew blah, blah, blah. I can write 15 different ways that she could address it very easily and put it to bed. So I'm hoping, even though some people might argue she shouldn't have to do that, I think that it would be a powerful soundbite. Sometimes you just got to give them a soundbite.
Look, she fishing. They fishing for sound bites. Wow. Basically admitting, hey, we're just trying to fish and manipulate and deceive and keep black people on the plantation. This is pathetic.
That we can clip and we can replay over and over again, like they replay all the bad shit over and over again. Mm-hmm. Just give us that one soundbite to work with, and then put it.
So she ain't even gave you a soundbite. What'd that tell you? What'd that tell you? Why would you want somebody like that to cosplay as black? This is so embarrassing. Now, I've always spoke against this. I've been speaking probably over a decade now. I've been speaking against this very thing. And I never thought that I would find black people actually promoting it. Saying, hey, Indian woman, all you got to do is say you black. Because, see, black people that dumb. See, any other people would be offended. You take your black face to Japan, talking about you a Japanese person. Not one of them going to accept you, even if you speak Japanese. And we've got examples of that all over YouTube. There are already several there's one black girl walked around in a kimono thinking she was going to, no, ain't going to accept you. But black people, that's that dumb, because they still on the plantation. So just, hey, Indian girl, just say that you black. You ain't, people like that is not trying to help black Americans, so beat it. That's why I don't like Roland, and I don't like nobody on his show, none of his ilk, and I'm telling y'all right now, no other people is on our side. Black men and black women need to wake up and realize that fact. Everybody is against us, no matter even if they're black. That's the world we living in, man. It's us against the world. Y'all remember that song by, I think, Music Soul Child? It is us against the world. So we ain't got don't ever get disrespectful to black men. We need to be the most respectful people to each other, because we ain't got no allies. I mean, zero.
To bed. But the reality is this. Don't worry about Kamala Harris's blackness. Worry about your own day.
No. Y'all worried about it. Y'all the ones to keep calling her black and pushing her blackness. They brought it up in that interview. We're going to get to the interview. Because Roland is out here calling what Trump said racist. Stop it, Roland. Lord.
And blackness. Worried about what your black ass is going to be subjected to.
No. We ain't having none of that. Look at how disrespectful she is. No, they only talk to black Americans in this disrespectful fashion. You think she'd get up there and say, worry about what your Jewish behind gonna do? Worried about what your Chinese behind gonna be subjected to? This ain't nothing but plantation maintenance. That's all Roland represents. Plantation maintenance. And all these other bootlicking Uncle Tom. Get out of here. Get out of here, man. We really don't need people like this in 2024.
With, and then put it to bed. But the reality is this. Don't worry about Kamala Harris's blackness. Worry about your own damn blackness. Worry about what your black ass is going to be subjected to if Donald Trump gets back in office. He's already said, and he said on that stage, the one with the water, when he was referring to Sonia Massey, who was shot in her face, that he is not going to back off of granting immunity to police officers.
They got immunity right now. The whole system is designed, lawyers are on record saying this. The system is designed to protect police officers. So stop it. These police officers are not out here getting prosecuted left and right. They already have immunity. Ain't nothing gonna change.
He would pardon J6 protesters. Meanwhile, when he was in office, he wanted to shoot BLM protesters. This is a person that's going who could be.
And he pardoned a bunch of black people, even degenerate rappers. Here they go. Here they go. And her answer don't even apply. He asked, how should we galvanize? How should we respond to people questioning Kamala Harris' blackness? And she responded by saying, hey, Kamala just need to play as black and everything will be all right. Pathetic.
Be elected with immunity from the Supreme Court, who would give immunity to police officers, who would strip the Department of Education.
And there you go again, thinking we need to be preoccupied with police officers as if we're all criminals. I ain't had to interact with a police officer in over a decade. And last time I did, he didn't do nothing but pull me over, give me a warning, didn't even get ticketed. Ain't nobody worried about, get out of here, man.
Would strip our civil rights, strip our citizenship.
No. We need that check. That way we can galvanize and make sure we sidestep whatever traps out there. We get wrongfully arrested or whatever, then we'll have potential for a lawsuit. But get out of here with this immunity boogie monster, HR 40 and all this other nonsense.
So if you are worried about
what was that, Project 52 or 57, whatever?
Anybody's blackness, be worried about your own blackness and what's in store under Donald Trump versus Kamala Harris. Irrespective of how you want to view her race.
I am worried about my blackness. And she up in my face talking about she washed so many collard greens she used the bathtub. She up here talking about how she carry hot sauce. She up here cosplaying being disrespectful. So what is you talking about? What is you talking about? She the one keep throwing all these disrespectful stereotypes in our face. She the one held a rally trying to look for black votes and gonna bring Meg Thee Stallion up there and tell her to flap her musty booty cheeks. Get who's that rapper? Get out of here. Talk about that. You want to talk about somebody being disrespectful. Talk about Kamala Harris being disrespectful. Talking to us like we fools. And then she want to pretend like she didn't, not long ago, literally say she ain't doing nothing for black Americans specifically. Whereas she's done things for other groups specifically and doing things for other groups specifically right now. All them tangibles that y'all giving to immigrants, we're not getting that. Y'all ain't gave us no credit card. You ain't pay our rent. Y'all been doing things specifically for other people. And that ain't no lift-off program what they doing. We ain't getting none of that money. All of those resources going directly to those immigrants. So what is you talking about? Just pathetic.
Look at the policy. Let's just take the race shit off the table and look at the policy.
Yeah, we talking about her policies right now. That's her policy. To bring over immigrants, illegal and illegal, give them the right to vote, and give them tangibles in a circle around us. That's her way of spitting in our face. What you expect us to vote? What policies you want to talk about? Huh? It ain't like Kamala got a history of being pro-black. She hiding evidence, trying to make sure black men are executed and stay in prison and stuff like that. She's clearly anti-black. And again, look at the culture she comes from. That's one of the most racist caste systems in human history over there in India.
Let's take the race shit off the table and look at the policy.
Curl Prep Natural Hair Solutions at curlprep.com.
Pathetic. Roland and his ilk is pathetic. Now let's look, because I am so tired of this. I am so tired of hearing about this. And I didn't think people would respond. I didn't think as many people would respond to it as they did. I thought people were finally going to look at the fact that she did She was promoted and projected as an Indian alone, on multiple occasions. Multiple occasions. Black people can't do that and don't do that. But let's go.
As journalists, we use opportunities like these both to inform our reporting, but also to help voters understand the choices that they face in a consequential and historic election year. NABJ has partnered with PolitiFact to fact check this conversation in real time. You can access that feed on social media.
Okay, we're going to skip all that. But listen, and look at that. So, no black men. Y'all ain't got no black male journalists? Yes, I'm going there. Yes, I'm going there. Ain't got not one black man up there. Y'all should have had at least one black male journalist up there, and he should have went first. So right from the gate, I'm seeing disrespect. I'm seeing all crunchy perms. Probably got some little clip-ins or whatnot, but I see Becky's hair. So what I see ultimately is black women detached from their leaders. That's all I see. So I'm like, you're making a mistake already. And boy, did they. See, what they tried to do is act as the masculine people in the room, seeing that there was no man there. And they overcompensated, went way overboard, started being nasty right out the gate. She could have asked all these questions that she did ask respectfully and got honest answers. But look at this.
You have pushed false claims about some of your rivals.
Man, this just look at this. Wow.
Thank you. Mr. President, we so appreciate you giving us an hour of your time. I want to start by addressing the elephant in the room, sir. A lot of people did not think it was appropriate for you to be here today. You have pushed false claims about some of your rivals, from Nikki Haley to former President Barack Obama, saying that they were not born in the United States, which is not true. You have told 4 congresswomen of color who were American citizens to go back to where they came from. You have used words like animal and rabid to describe black district attorneys.
See, this is how they come at us. They think this is masculine. No, it's not. Try just right out the gate being disrespectful. You're supposed to start out friendly. So at least ask him how he's doing, since there was an assassination attempt on his life. How have you been, Mr. President? It's good to still, for former presidents, good to still have you here with us. Tell us about, your family and get into the little politics. And then later on at the end, I'd like to address some of the criticisms. Could you address some of the criticisms that are out here against you in the minds of a lot of black people? This is what a lot of potential voters are thinking about, or this is what matters to a lot of them. And share it respectfully. No, because you out of your element, not under the influence of the real leaders, you came off like just ridiculous, like a ratchet hood rats.
Room, sir. A lot of people did not think it was appropriate for you to be here today. You have pushed false claims about some of your rivals, from Nikki Haley to former President Barack Obama, saying that they were not born in the United States, which is not true. You have told 4 congresswomen of color who were American citizens to go back to where they came from. You have used words like animal and rabid to describe black district attorneys. You've attacked black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort.
That is pathetic. Dinner with a white supremacist? See, around here in this country, in black America, we assume that all white people could be a white supremacist. So it makes no sense to care whether you know for sure if one is or not. That's stupid. And all of these are emotional things. She ain't mention one policy that he implemented and how it had a negative impact on Black America. Not one. It's all emotional. You said this about a journalist. You said this, and you ate dinner here. Goofy. And embarrassed yourselves.
District attorneys. You've attacked Black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist.
You called her stupid.
You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort. So my question, sir, now that you are asking Black supporters to vote for you, why should Black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
After you hurt their feelings. So they getting up there talking about emotions disrespectfully right out the gate.
Well, I don't think I've ever been asked a question so in such a horrible manner. First question. You don't even say, hello, how are you? Are you with ABC? Because I think
I believe men, Black men, their leaders, the head of the household, of the community, the true leaders, they would have done that. They wouldn't have came off like that. We know how to show respect. See, because they're not used to respecting us, they don't practice respect for men nowhere. And they take that when they want to date interracial, they try to suppress it. They try their best to suppress it, but over time it comes out. And they're then disrespectful to all men, no matter what race, because you ain't practicing it at home. That's all that was.
they're a fake news network, a terrible network. And I think it's disgraceful that I came here in good spirit. I love the Black population of this country. I've done so much for the Black population of this country. Including employment, including opportunity zones.
Let me just say, I ain't no Trump supporter. I ain't no Trump fan or nothing like that. I don't support nobody unless they cutting his check. But let me say, I was never laid off under Trump. I was laid off under Biden. I was laid off under Obama. Not once was I laid off under Trump.
With Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, which is one of the greatest programs ever for black workers and black entrepreneurs. Done so much, and and I say this, historically black colleges and universities were out of money. They were stone cold broke, and I saved them, and I gave them long-term financing, and nobody else was doing it. I think it's a very rude introduction. I don't know.
And, he starts talking about the policies he's implemented specifically for black people. That I think were pretty good points. HBCUs was hurt. They were hurting. And he helped them out. He's done a lot more than that. Another thing that I noticed is that he kept the automotive industry in pretty good shape. Like I said, I was not laid off once. But there have been nothing but layoffs under the Democrats.
And I say this.
Where's the part where he, we about to go to it. I just wanted to point that out. I didn't like the way that started. In the complete absence, another just disrespect to black men. And there are black journalists available. You get black journalists available in your organization. The NABJ, go look at their website. Tariq Nasheed is a member of it. That is crazy. And you heard Tariq on his broadcast say that he believes that if he were to sit down with Trump, he could hammer out some type of deal with him. Do you think Trump could sit down and hammer out a deal with these three? Nah, I'm not just talking about her. I'm not even going to deal with... No. trying to have leadership skills without having no input from the natural born leaders. So disrespectful. So disrespectful. Many of the ways I see black men being disrespected, I don't even verbalize. I don't even point it out. But this is one of them. I haven't heard. Well, I heard Dennis Sperling point this out. Dennis Sperling pointed this out. And that's another thing. Look at how so many black men in so many different professions, we're all saying the same thing. From image consultants to highly touted attorneys in the Hall of Fame of attorneys, down to truck drivers and people at the lower levels. We all saying the same things, which tells you that what we're saying is accurate. This ain't none of us black woman bash. This is what you do as leaders. You look at your problems and you address them, try to fix them. Now, whether you want to take that advice or not, that's on you. I'm just pointing out what needs to be done if you're going to remain on this earth. I'm talking your physical, very survival. You're going to have to show the utmost respect to your men and look at them and treat them like your saviors. You need to restore the natural respect women have for men. If we were not back into the Stone Ages, you would learn the hard way. Because y'all ain't building no homes. You ain't hunting no animals. You ain't fighting off male intruders who want to take the goods that you have. Y'all gonna need us when we get down to how we naturally survive. Then you're going to realize the value of men. And you won't dare even be disrespectful to them. You need to restore that energy right now. You're going to remain on this earth. Now, let me find this. Trump, Indian Kamala. Trump, Indian Kamala. Okay, let's go. What is it? How long is this? I think this is it. Speaks at black. Okay. Yeah, this is it.
Sir, do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is only on the ticket because she is a black woman?
See? Now, we just heard Roland's bootleg talking about how we keep bringing up Kamala's race. No, y'all keep bringing it up. Y'all out here trying to promote her and push her as a black woman. She is not a black woman.
Only on the ticket because she is a black woman.
Well, I can say, no, I think it's maybe a little bit different. So I've known her a long time indirectly, not directly very much. And she was always of Indian heritage.
Cook.
And she was only promoting Indian heritage.
Cook.
I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black.
Cook.
And now she wants to be known as black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she black?
She is always
But you know
identified
what?
as a black woman. Sir, do you believe that
And then she hops in and lies. The journalist hops in and lies. There were several moments where Kamala identified as Indian and nothing but Indian.
A little bit different. So I've known her a long time indirectly, not directly
Wait a minute.
very much.
Sorry, I clicked the wrong button. Scoot up here.
Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she black?
She is always
But you know
identified
what?
as a black woman.
I
She went to a
respect
historically
either
black
one.
college.
I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't, because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn and she became a black.
When it was convenient for her to do so. And that's exactly what Roland and his ilk is trying to encourage Kamala to do. Hey girl, I see you under a little bit of fire. These Negroes is still on the plantation. Just say you black. That's all you got to do. That is so disrespectful. It is so disrespectful. And it's crazy how Roland and his ilk are so disrespectful to black Americans, and they think they're speaking on behalf of black Americans, thinking they got authority to somehow. It's very disrespectful. And for Roland to be Caribbean on top of that, I don't know. Who are those other people on that panel? Black American? I've never even, is this woman? I don't care if they are or if they're not. That is a disgrace. And that's just one example of how disgraceful this is. Kamala Harris has been disrespectful on a level where that you can clearly tell that she's the mouthpiece for what many white politicians have wanted to say. They wanted the same role that Candace Owens plays. She says the things that, you know, they don't want to say. They want to say to black people, we're never going to do anything specifically for you. And because they push Kamala as kind of black or like one of the sister girls, they always think another black person is just like Stephen A. Smith. They always think a black person is qualified to say those things. Nope. That don't work either. Gonna push Kamala out there to let black Americans know, don't look forward to anything being done specifically for you, as we do things specifically for other groups. Notice how they're very good at not doing stuff for us and project it as some type of crime to do things specifically for us. They know how to dodge us. They know how to throw that ball so that it completely goes over our head and the people behind us catch it. But if we even so much as suggest that we get something specifically, something that's owed to us, been owed to us, this is the biggest debt in this country. It's reparations. I don't want to hear nothing from nobody, and it's a shame. It's disgraceful that so many black Americans support Kamala, support any politician without demanding reparations. I think I told y'all, I've talked to a couple people recently, black Americans. One of them didn't support reparations for black Americans. The other was like, kinda. And in a few seconds, they was both in support of reparations. All I had to do was remind them, hey, your tax dollars have been going for reparations for other people who didn't go nearly through as much as you do. People who never actually experienced the things that they get in reparations for, just like with us. So every excuse that you've ever heard as to why black Americans shouldn't get reparations has been overlooked to give reparations to other people, and it's coming out your tax dollars. You got to be out of your mind to be a black American and against reparations. And I will leave it there. Shout out to everybody. I'll see y'all on the next live stream.